You've tuned in to the Top 10 Garden Show with garden expert Ken Lain. Join the conversation daily as he answers timely garden questions. Email Ken a question directly from your phone to his desktop through the web at wattersgardencenter.com. That's Watters with 2 T's, gardencenter.com. Or visit face-to-face throughout the week where he can be found at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. Now welcome your host, Ken Lain.
As I clean up some of the gardens, I like to add some fertilizer. Now, fertilizer can be manure. Now, over my vegetable gardens and my flower beds, as they're cleaned up, I do like putting some organic material on top of that, so as it just composts slowly over the winter. And so when I'm ready to plant, starting into February and March, I'm just ready to go, just like that. It's been sitting there, just doing the garden a favor. It attracts more worms. There's a lot of benefits. But in addition, I'm also adding some fertilizer. This is a great time to fertilize your evergreen trees. Some of them in your neighborhood, you're starting to see them to turn yellow. So deodar cedars, pine trees, Colorado spruce have this. They look unhealthy. They have this yellow hue. We call it winter chlorosis. So as the days get real short, and you're sensing the days are short right now, and they're only going to get shorter for about another week. Let's see, the 21st, I believe, is the winter solstice, shortest day of the year. And then it will get longer from there. So plants they're feeling it. And so they're showing up there, this yellowing, this winter chlorosis. And so fertilizing plants now keeps that chlorosis away from your plants. It keeps them greener, richer, fuller, thicker. And it will set the stage for next spring's additional growth. So mainly you're just keeping them green right now. Now I have quite a few customers so really we fertilized heavily last September, October. So it's been a couple months. It's time to hit them again, especially your evergreens. But what back then I had several customers that they read something online. You can't believe everything you read online. The internet is not always right. In fact, frequently I'm baffled by why people read this stuff, but plant spikes. So they make this real hard spike that you drive into the ground. And the myth is one spike will fertilize the plant for a year. Now, the spike does actually stay in the ground in the garden for a year. I find that they just don't work though. And so I think the secret is one spike doesn't do it. It takes a dozen of them to fertilize a bigger tree. And then even then, you need to put it where the fertilizer is releasing, where the feeder roots are. And where are those? And so you never find the right spot. And so I've tried several years. I tried them. I mean, that'd be great. The magic bullet, get the right spike in the right place, fertilize for a year. I'm done. Once I'm done, I'll pay almost any amount to get rid of work and just do it once. But it didn't work. The plants suffered. They weren't thick. They were yellow and they didn't have big leaves. They were small. They didn't flower as much. The fruit wasn't as big. Plant spikes, it is virtually impossible to get them at the right spot where the roots can pick up all that nutrient. And so I just stopped selling them at the garden center. I said, if I'm going to offer gardeners a product, it better work. And so I was trying it myself. Plant spikes don't work. Liquid fertilizers like Miracle-Gro, Peter's 20-20-20. These you add a scoop into a gallon of water and it fertilizes plants. Those are pretty good for raised beds, for containers, for houseplants. Terrible for plants out in the yard. If you're going to fertilize your trees and your shrubs, your vines, your perennial flowers out in the yard, use a granular fertilizer. And I would say use an organic granular fertilizer. All natural foods are much better. You don't want to eat processed food, ultra high processed foods, nor do your plants. And that's what a chemical-based fertilizer is. Your Scott's Turf Builders, all these fast-released chemical fertilizers. It's not as good for your plants. It burns off the worms. They don't like it. Your beneficial things that live in the ground that do your plants a favor, it damages them while the plant grows. You're much better off using organic fertilizers. And so we make a 7-4-4 all-purpose plant food. It's cottonseed meal and bird guano and some other stuff in there that just spread it out there. And as the rains and the snows hit, it just releases a little bit over a very long period of time. And that's what plants want. And then we juice it with some iron and some sulfur. That's what's going to keep your plants green. So your evergreens, your spruce, your junipers, cypress, cedars, firs, all these evergreen plants, the hollies, the red-tip photinias are notorious for turning yellow in the winter. Fertilize those, it will keep them green, and you'll get a much better red growth. There's red-tipped photinia. The new growth is red as it grows, big shade. It's like a screening plant. It grows 10 by 10 by 10 or even bigger. But if you fertilize that now, you'll get tremendous red growth in the spring. They usually start growing March, but it will mainly keep them green right now. It's game changer. As you trim things up, clean them up, rake things up, look for where bugs were or mildew was growing last year. Clean that area up, then fertilize it. It'll keep it green, keep it healthy, and get you better growth that is pest-free, disease-free next spring. But now's your time to do that work for spring growth in a couple months. Hey, we've got more in store for you. Be right back right after this.
The holidays are here in Arizona's Christmas City, bringing family closer and those chilly winter winds.
While you're decorating the outside, don't forget to brighten up the inside with exotic Christmas plants from Watters.
Beautiful Christmas cactus and poinsettia are coming to town, grown exclusively by Watters in colors you won't find anywhere else.
Unique, vibrant, and guaranteed to warm even the dreariest winter day.
For exotic Christmas plants at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. The Top 10 Gardener, your source for timely garden advice seasonally correct for the garden, guaranteed to make a difference in your yard this season.